Hi guys, it's Ange here. So I'm just going to do a quick little vlog today. It's going to be a quick 10 questions that I'm asked the most about bus ownership. Now these questions aren't obviously coming from my subscribers because I don't have many just yet. They're coming from my actual friends in real life. So it's the basic 10 questions that I'm asked the most. So before we get started, I basically just want to apologize for my lack of quality when it comes to filming videos. I'm using my phone at the moment, and I'm also just learning editing, so please just bear with me until I sort of get it down pat a little bit better. Okay, so let's get into the vlog. Okay, 10 questions and answers that I'm asked the most. Number 1, why buy a bus? Okay, so firstly, a van is too small for me and a full bus is too big. So when I first was interested in this lifestyle, I was really attracted to the whole van life movement. And when I come into some money and considered actually purchasing either a house or a bus or a van or whatever, obviously I did not want to be tied down and stuck in a mortgage. So I wasn't really into the whole, you know, signing a lease for a start and a rental and being stuck there for 6 months or 12 months or whatever. And then I wasn't really interested in the fact of having a mortgage for the next 30 years or more, which also change you to your career or your job, and that's not really appealing to me either. So the freedom essentially is, you know, a big attractant when it comes to living in a bus. I wanted to see the country. I had a bit of an experience at the end of last year where I went to Japan for a while, and I was in the middle of nowhere in the country in World Heritage Forest, and the air raid sirens went off, and it wasn't the most comfortable situation to be in for a few days until we found out that it was actually just the anniversary for the Hiroshima atom bomb. However, it really made me sort of wake up and think, oh my goodness, if I'm in another country, air raid sirens are going off, war is beginning, and I'm stuck in another country. It's not a good feeling. Believe me, I had to sit with that feeling for 2 or 3 days. So essentially I just decided, you know, I'm going to travel my own backyard for a while. So it was to see the country. You know, who doesn't want to see their own country? And most people tend to just want to jet set overseas and, you know, and check out other countries, and they just forget to explore their own backyards. So another big reason. So the freedom, and also I'm a bit of a dropout of society. I'm a non-conformist, so I find it very hard to hold down a 9 to 5, even if I were to have a mortgage or rent, electricity, all that sort of stuff. So buying a bus eliminates all that. It eliminates your rent and your mortgage, and it eliminates electricity because I've got a shitload of solar up there on the roof. I mean, you still have your rego and insurance and stuff, which I have anyway because I also have a car. So I'm paying rego and insurance on the car now, and petrol and tyres and all that jazz. So once I sell that, it basically just swaps over to the bus. So I'm going to have all that anyway. Question 2, where will I live? So to begin with, I'm just going to travel locally. You know, I'm just going to do some weekend trips around my local area, which is the Gold Coast in the Queensland, Australia, on the East Coast. So once I get comfortable with the rig, I pretty much am now. I've worked everything out. It's just the setup, you know, once I get an awning and, you know, setting up outside and that sort of jazz. So once I'm pretty cool with that and I've got that down, I'll probably venture a little bit further. So what the plan is probably to travel north in winter and south in summer. And I've had a little bit of enough of the coastline of Australia. It's where most of our capital cities are, most of them. And it's just so built up and it's a bit of a rat race. And I'm a little bit done with that. So most likely I'll be going inland, you know, which from here is west. So, but we'll see how we go. Question 3, how will I pay for this lifestyle? I think this is a big question for van lifers or bus lifers. Number one question, because how do you pay for your lifestyle? So work-wise, probably markets for me. It's a good travel job. There's markets all around Australia. You can sort of, you know, just look at your map, see where you're heading to, check out the markets in the area, book in, show up, and there you go. So the only problem I have with that is carrying stock. Obviously more weight, more fuel. So I'm trying to think of jobs that I can do at markets without stock. So maybe things like palmistry readings or, you know, tarot. Who knows? We'll get to that soon. So number 4, where will I park it? I actually thought this was a really stupid question at first, but when I sort of thought about the question, it's actually not that stupid. You know, it's a 23-foot van or bus, which is about 7 meters. I'm not sure how big a car space is, but it's not that big, you know what I mean? So, but I think when you go to, you know, you go to a new town or whatever, you might not be able to park in the main street, but you know, a few blocks out, you're going to be able to park, and I guess it's going to give you a little bit of exercise too, getting to and from places. When you go to supermarkets, you'll be parking in the car parks on the outskirts, you know, so you can actually take up to parks without being in anyone's way, not, you know, without anyone getting shitty about it. So basically wherever it fits, that's where I'll be parking. Okay, question 5, how will you do this alone? This is a good question. And I figure by using female-friendly items like remote start generators instead of like the pulley generators and just things like that that are more female-friendly. Understanding your solar setup for a start has been one of the biggest challenges for me, but I'm slowly getting there. So understanding how things work, you know, these are things that usually a guy would take control of and look after and maintain, but when you roll in solo, you don't really have an option, so you need to learn these things, especially if in the middle of nowhere and, you know, things break down. You need to be able to fix them with solar anyway. Obviously, you know, if you're in the middle of nowhere and the bus breaks down, you've got roadside assist. So little things like that. Like I said, insurance is a good safety net with roadside assistance for tyre changes and breakdowns, and always have a kitty of cash as backup. So just in case for breakdowns, you know, who knows what may happen, who knows, so cash is always good. Question 6, what else needs doing to the bus? So before she's on the road, she needs 2 new tyres and a little bit of engine work, which probably isn't too much. And that's it. And the other things are basically just aesthetic. Oh, well, not aesthetic, but I'm going to put something in like a ceiling vent, you know, the Fantastic Fan or something like that, just to draw some hot air out. Or and if that doesn't work for the summer months, eventually I may install some air conditioning. And in turn, if I do that, I will need to buy a generator. At the moment I don't need it. Everything else is run, you know, off solar and gas, etc. But for aircon, you just can't run aircon off solar, so I will need to buy a generator. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So so it's other little things like that, you know. I don't have an awning on the side of the bus, but at the moment I can just buy, you know, a separate awning and use that until I get to the point where I want to buy an awning, a proper one. A bull bar. In Australia we have a lot of kangaroos, and they sort of tend to travel to the main roads for the heat at dusk. So a bull bar will come in handy down the track once I start travelling inland, you know, where the roos are, basically. Question 7, how will you stay safe? Firstly, I mean, this is pretty tricky as a female. Like, it's really hard. A couple of weeks ago I was sleeping in the bus. About 4 a.m. I heard my water pump go off, which is actually right underneath my bed, and there's a tap on the outside of the bus, and I wasn't sure if someone had just turned the tap on to activate the water pump. It woke me up and I sort of become hyper alert, but I couldn't hear anyone outside the bus, so I wasn't sure what had happened, but who knows. And then last night I get a phone call to say someone's trying to break into the bus. Now supposedly they just had a torch looking through the windows, So who knows whether they wanted to break in just to find things like tablets and laptops and phones, whatever, or whether they actually wanted to steal the entire bus. I really don't know. But by the time we got here, there was no one here and there were no forced entries or anything. But this is something to really think about and consider, especially as a female rolling solo. You need to have your wits about you, and you need to have a bit of a plan in place. So my next step this weekend is to buy some alarm systems for the doors. The windows are fully screened, so that's some pretty good security, but yeah, the main door and the side door, I need some sort of alarm system. So once your alarm sounds, whatever the alarm is, they'll probably bolt anyway and get scared off because it draws too much attention to what they're up to. So that'll be the simple sort of thing, is to buy an alarm. Secondly, I've got my dog. I mean, he's only tiny, but he's actually a Lhasa Apso from Tibet, and they are sort of bred into them to be guard dogs. They've got hyper alert hearing, hypersensitive hearing, and it's acute hearing. So they can hear the most minute sound like a kilometre away. Well, maybe not a kilometre, probably a few hundred metres at least. Believe me, I've seen my dog, what he's been aroused to, a couple of, like 100 metres away. And I'm like, what are you barking at? There's nothing. But when I actually really look, you can see someone 200 metres away coming out of a yard with their push bike. So he knows, so he's a good indicator for me to be alert. So insurance, obviously you don't want to be bogged in the middle of absolute nowhere and you're stuck there for weeks on end. So you need to have that insurance, roadside assistance. So wasp spray is always a good one for females. In America, I think people use bear spray. And that's it, what else can you do? I mean, if you've got a man on board, that's probably a little bit easier, but if you don't, deal with it. Question 8, won't you get bored or lonely on the road by yourself? So to me, boredom is a bit of a state of mind. When you're in a new town or city, you've always got new attractions and, there's new events going on, there's new places in nature to visit and waterfalls and hiking and trekking. There's so many trails and things, everywhere you go that's sort of new. Beyond that, I'm a qualified yoga teacher, so I can always roll out the mat in here, outside in nature somewhere. I have a bike rack on the back for riding my bike. I'm thinking about buying a kayak and popping it up there on the roof. We'll see how we go. So taking my dog places also, like my dog needs to get out multiple times a day, so and socialising at campgrounds. So I guess it doesn't matter if you're free camping or at a caravan park. I would avoid caravan parks, but free camping, there's still people camping there, so you can socialise if you want, or retreat and back to your little cave if you want to do that also. Visiting people when you're in interstate, family, friends, so yeah, there's always that option. Question 9, how long are you planning to travel for? Forever, permanently. So I've done a bit of travel overseas, and like I said before, I just think I'm going to keep traveling in my own country for at least a few years. World stability is not what it used to be, so I'm gonna stay here and travel. It's really, I don't know, it's quite inspirational to me to be traveling and on the road and seeing new things and discovering new places every day and exploring. Like, that's what life's all about. So to me, it's not about working the 9 to 5 and just, waking up at 7 a.m. and being at your job by 9, and, the day drags on till 5:30, and then you leave and you go home and you cook dinner and you watch a bit of TV and you go to bed, and then you do it all again the next day. That to me is not life, it's not living, so yeah. So I'm going to travel for quite a while. So question 10. Mind you, question 9, that might change, if I get into this in a few years' time. I might change my mind, I might sell the bus, I might upgrade, I might buy a house. Who knows? You always change. I'm constantly changing and evolving, so we'll see where this goes, where it takes us. Question 10, will you have a home base? Essentially, yes. So until my mum hits the road soon, my mum used to own a caravan, and she's just in the process of looking at buying a motorhome or some sort of similar bus like this, like a Toyota Coaster or something. So she'll be back on the road soon. So essentially I'll be using her address for mail and things like that. But my dad, he has lived on the road for 10 or 15 years now. He's nomadic, and he's in Tasmania. So I think I'm quite lucky in the sense that I can sort of live between the two places if I want. You know, here I am on the Gold Coast in Queensland, you know, which is subtropical, and my dad lives in Tasmania, which is frigid. Like, it's actually so cold. It's close to the South Pole, Antarctica, but it's absolutely beautiful. The Gold Coast is absolutely beautiful too when it comes to nature. And so I've got the best of both worlds, really. You know, like I said, I can head south in summer and north in winter. Obviously I wouldn't want to just keep it to the east coast, but yeah, we'll see how we go. So anyway, they're basically my 10 questions. So if you have any more questions that you would like me to answer in maybe another vlog that I do, just pop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video for more to come, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys. Peace.